All right, you feeling good? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, late ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of Loungin, chilling, kicking it, doing our thing. We're glad y'all made it another week, man. For real, look, it ain't easy. Day to day doing your thing, but we're glad you made it, whether you hear live or on the replay. Shouts out to everybody live. I'll give a shout out to the Patreon supporters in a second, but I am here with Lady Lisa. Say what's up.
Hey, y'all.
So to Patreon supporters, big shout outs to Tim I, Jamal Lee, Tyler, my man, Tyler TB, what up? And Thought Crimes, Enrique Carry On, Panda. Much love to you guys. You guys are awesome. Help out so much. Just super cool to see y'all doing y'all thing. Love to have y'all doing it. So today we of course are talking about the VP pick. Joe Biden chose and decided to have Kamala Harris as his running mate. You know what I'm saying? Decided to bring her on to the ticket. And now we have the Democratic National Convention going on. So I figured we've had a time to digest it a little bit, see what's been going on online, and let's talk about it. What up, Boogsworthy? See you in the house. Nice to see you. So good to see you, here, ready to talk. And before we get started with this, regardless of how any of us feel, as you can see, NERDSoulite don't feel good about these choices. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of how we feel about these choices, voting is it's a personal thing. Voting is a personal thing. I ain't going to try to tell you how to vote. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say you ain't this or you are that or this, that, and the third. But I do think we need a forum to discuss this without disconnecting. Because this does concern all of us and concern our lives and how we will go forward. So, whether you for, Biden or for the Democrats or for the Republicans or whatever, it's cool here. Be respectful. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to demean you or anything. Before we even get started, we ain't here for, I'm here to have a serious conversation, but I'm not here to try to demean anybody, nothing like that. We don't get down like that. So shouts out to Vivi in the house. Beautiful to see you here. Jamal Lee in the spot. What up? Alan Lewis, what up? So, over the last week, we've seen a lot of movement on Twitter, a lot of movement on Facebook, and it is time to go over some quotes, some thoughts, some statements, about the state of our union for us, for the blacks, if you will. Oh man. And I wanted to go over some quotes first to get us started, get the conversation going and all that good stuff. So, in this case, did you want to start off? Was there a certain quote that you wanted to start off with? Because we grabbed some stuff off of like Twitter and Facebook. The only quote in here that we'll name is a public two public figures. But besides that, we're not going to name the actual people that made these quotes because I ain't trying to blast nobody. Did you want to start with Ava's quote?
Yeah, I'll start with Ava's. I'll read it.
All right, going to Lisa will read Ava DuVernay's quote, and I want to talk specifically about this one for a second, but go ahead.
Okay. This starts her quote. "There is no debate anymore. There is no room for it in my book. We either make this happen or literally more of us perish. People are dying. Someone I love died. The virus is real. If it hasn't visited your doorstep, it will."
Stop real quick on that note. I did want to pause you right there. When she said, or literally more of us perish, I ain't going to front. When I was reading, I was like, oh snap, she's going to be talking about police violence. Yeah, we going to be getting, and she talked about the virus. Not to say disproportionately, black and poor people have been touched by the virus disproportionately because, of course, healthcare is a class issue, and America, due to white supremacy, focused more on black people as a class issue. So understood. But she talking about I'm like, look,
yeah.
I don't know if you know what we dealing with now. There's something taking precedence over that virus, but continue.
Okay. So she says, oh, but Kamala did this or she didn't do that. I hear you. I know. And I don't care.
So how you feel about that?
I think that part is what angers me the most. Yeah. Saying I hear you and I know.
Meaning like it's true. What you're saying is true.
It's true. I get it. I get where you're coming from. I see you. I see you. Oh, but I don't care. See. Okay. Yeah, that just, that's just a whole other angle.
Well, also remember what I said. A Donald Trump presidency is going to be awesome if you're rich. Ava DuVernay is not a everyday black person. She's not you or I. She's not in the rat race, checking in, trying to work from home, riding the city bus or fighting traffic to work. She's not that. So a Trump presidency, if you rich, she ain't feeling it the same way your grandmama's feeling it.
Wait a minute.
You know what I'm saying?
But I don't understand where you're going with this. She's not supporting Trump.
I'm not saying she's not supporting Trump. What I'm saying is when she says she doesn't care, she's not interested in any of our dealings. I don't care. Hey, we shouldn't pick Kamala because of this. Kamala because of this. I don't care.
Right.
Gary Vee said, do you think it matters who's the president? It ain't gonna stop me from getting money. So these people are at a certain level where they don't have to be interested in the everyday dealings of you and I. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to, and not only are they disconnected, but they've become apathetic. So they're not even interested in the political dealings to a certain degree because they have so many connections. It's not like Ava DuVernay is going to have to go to the social building to get unemployment.
Yeah, but I don't know if any of that has to do with this because we have just everyday people who are on the same stuff that she's on. So yeah. I think it's more so that she's just on the same train as other people where they're like, oh, it's a black woman. Don't ask no questions. Don't look back. Da, 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 da.
Well, she covers that in a second. I was holding that, but you're right. Well, but I was just getting started in the argument. But go ahead, my sister.
Okay. Then she says, because what she didn't do is in all caps, is abandon citizens in a pandemic, rip babies from their mother's arms at the border, send federal troops to terrorize protesters, manufacture new ways to suppress black and brown votes, actively disrespect indigenous people and land, traffic in white supremacist rhetoric in an effort to stir racist violence at every turn, attempt to dismantle most American democratic systems of checks and balance, degrade women all day, every day, infect the Supreme Court with another misogynist hack, demolish America's standing on climate, actively cultivate and further white supremacist structures and systems across all aspects of American daily life.
Okay. Stop right there. Okay, she goes through all this stuff that she didn't do. To a certain degree, she hasn't had an opportunity to because she hasn't been president.
You get the point she's making.
Well, I'm just saying, you can't really make a one-to-one comparison between someone who is a president and someone who's going to be a vice president. Also, you can't make a one-to-one comparison because she never had the power to do these things. Also, someone could make the argument that I've made before that essentially in policy, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have been and could be just as violent as rhetoric, because rhetoric has its effect on society as well as policy. Mm-hmm. So, her saying stir racist violence, well, maybe I could see her argument on civilian racist violence, but when Kamala had an opportunity to quell and slow down or at least try to stop police violence, we haven't really had a lot of evidence of that. So, yes, I see what she's saying, what she didn't do, but someone could say she didn't have the opportunity or the power to, and the power that she did have to do things, she didn't, meaning federal troops to terrorize protesters. Well, I mean, there haven't been any protests for her to do it. She didn't have the power. But you could say she has allowed and taken money from police unions so that they could further terrorize the everyday citizens, black citizens of like Oakland, San Francisco, stuff like that. But so just trying to make it clean cut, like there's a white hat to be worn. I'm not sure if she's really driving that home in a clean way, but go ahead.
Okay, so she says, oh, I mean, that's what she didn't do. So I don't want to hear anything bad about her. Okay. It doesn't matter to me.
Once again, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Remember, she's on a whole nother level. All she cares about is optics. Not saying that we shouldn't care about optics, but she's at a level, and 2020 has been kicking the butt of celebrities left and right, but once again, she's showing that kind of elitist view, and to not even, for her to say, I don't care and it doesn't matter when there are serious, valid issues that black people are asking, when she claims to be that kind of Array, you know, what is it, Array entertainment company and for the people and all that, for her to say, I don't care and it doesn't matter, it kind of clashes with her whole, you know, appearance of like, I'm down, I'm Ava, I'm woke. It seems to clash with that for me. But I'll let you finish off the her statement in full.
She said, vote them in and then let's hold them accountable, which is the other part of her statement.
We're going to get on that in a second.
Anything other than that is insanity. It's ego. It's against our own interests. It's selfish. It's disrespectful to our elders.
I do want to talk on that.
Okay? It's nonsense. It's talking to hear yourself talk. This is a matter of life or death. We need all our energy focused. This is a fight for more than can be expressed here. There is no debate anymore. Not for me anyway. Hashtag vote blue 2020. Ava DuVernay. Can I?
Go ahead and then I'll jump to the chat. Go on, do your thing. Do your thing, Lady Lisa.
No.
Whenever you had to be like,
let me go to the part.
And thank you guys for hitting that like button.
Where she says, vote them in and then let's hold them accountable. So I'm going to equate this to different instances that we've heard about when people decide, when men and women decide to have a baby and get into a relationship with somebody. You know, you got a baby daddy, you got a baby mama, right?
Go on, preach it,
so
girl.
Y'all get into a relationship, y'all date, y'all do that and the third, y'all smiling all up in each other's faces, spending time together.
Honeymoon phase.
You know, ain't doing nothing, ain't asking no questions, ain't none of that. Y'all have a baby together. Things go awry because of course you raising a child. Things get hard. Y'all ain't really in a relationship, not for real. Y'all ain't married, y'all not really, y'all half together.
Y'all was lusting.
So all of a sudden, he trifling, she trifling.
Yeah.
Well, it's not all of a sudden. See,
she was always trifling.
She was already always trifling.
You never asked if she was trifling.
Asked. You too busy smiling in each other's faces.
You had an opportunity.
Doing all of these other things that ain't important, and bam, all of a sudden, you create another life.
Yep.
And now stuff gets serious. It ain't he and ha and going out to Red Lobster.
Now it's not dates anymore.
It's you trying
not
to
Red Lobster though.
I'm just saying.
Can we step them up to like Roost Chris?
No,
all right. You know, Texas Day Brazil.
Anyway,
maybe, all right.
Anyway. So you're trying to take care of this life. It gets hard. Finances are hard. Managing, spending time with the child is hard. And you're still trying to figure out this relationship that you got with each other.
Because you didn't take time to figure out who this person was.
What you did was you voted them in and want to hold them accountable later.
Yep.
And it doesn't, and then.
Tell it.
If I'm your friend, I'm going to be like, he was trifling when you met him.
Yep.
She was trifling when you met her.
And I'm gonna say she was dancing on the table when you met her.
I tried to tell you, but you ain't want to hear it. I was a hater.
She was so fine. You had to have her, and now you got her.
Because
now you can't get rid of her.
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And let me say this: you can plan. A person can plan on voting for Kamala and Joe Biden. People can plan and still ask questions and still present all of these issues that we have, and still go back and track her record and still go back and track his record. That doesn't make you a hater. That doesn't mean that you are not supporting the sisters. That does not mean you are not supporting Black people. That means you are trying to make an intelligent, informed decision.
And you want to know why? Because I think many of us feel like, we already went down this road of not asking questions with President Obama, and we didn't get everything that we thought we was gonna get. And now we're like, whoa. We let this happen one time. You got us, Democratic Party. You got us. But fool me twice. I think not. Now, big shout out to the chat. Everybody in the chat: Boogsworthy, VV, Jamal Lee, Tay 1990, Sunrays, nice to see you for the first time. Kibi 23, Howdy Doody, Cassandra Sellers. I think that's everybody that we got up in the chat. I know we got some lurkers, but that's cool. I wanted to talk about Alan Lewis said, I'm voting no matter what. This is my future, my brother's future, my mom's future. Everyone's future is affected by this election. True. Boogsworthy says, in my opinion, I think we all know what needs to be done. Another 4 years of Trump would mean terrible things for regular people. And I do agree. Going on to Alan Lewis again says, whoever gets in office, they pick the Supreme Court Justice, Secretary of Education, etc. This is a very important election. And I agree with those things. But I also would say that as someone who, I'm not super duper old, I'm, I guess, old enough to say that every election is the most important election of our lifetime. Like everyone that comes up, it's all at stake. You've got to get out and vote. Remember, vote or die? Did the people that didn't vote die? No, they didn't. And not saying that you should be apathetic, but I think that there is a lot of fear mongering behind each election that colors many of our thoughts and motivations without us even knowing about it, and not saying that we should not vote at all. But I do think we need to take into consideration how voting and everything is pushed, on us, to us, kind of like, be scared of them, vote this way, be scared of that, vote this way. Because honestly, in our current cycle, well, not even in our current cycle, ever since we've started this, we've essentially been voting between overt racism and covert racism. Yeah. Which one do you like? You know what I'm saying?
The overt is just more overt than what many of us have seen in our lifetime. Yeah. It's not more overt.
This ain't brand new to your grandma.
It's not more overt than our parents.
Yeah, because my mom
our parents are in their 60s.
Yeah, because my mom was in the first integration.
Yes. Our grandparents are in their 80s. And so it's not more overt by any means
for them
than what our parents and our grandparents have seen, who are still living, of course, by the way, which, but it's more overt than what, many of us, like what we have seen and those, younger than us have seen. And so that's why it seems so extreme.
True. Shouts to Tay 1990 said, Ava is rich and uses black plight to make money. Of course she is not going to care. We need to realize that black celebrities are not struggling or compassionate about the plight of regular folk. And that I'd agree that is something that we've been learning throughout this pandemic. The last 6 months? How long has it been? This is February, right? So February, March, April, May, June, July. So 6 to 7 months have really revealed and hurt the status of many celebrities, and let us know that celebrities ain't really as cool as we thought they was, and maybe not as down as we thought they was.
Yeah. I see.
Oh, go ahead.
I was looking at a comment. Tay 1990 said, "I just want people to look past the optics of the candidates, look at their voting history and the policies they put in place and enforce." Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it should be fair to look at those things. And I think what's catching a lot of people off guard is the last time the DNC did this, or the Democratic Party did this, everybody jumped on board. A black dude, president, oh snap, look at Michelle Obama, 2 beautiful kids, oh snap, yo, we gotta do this. If you got something to say, get them out of our way. We ain't trying to hear that. We putting them in office. But we had 8 years, and we really didn't get what we thought we was gonna get. Actually, one would argue the newer frequency of police violence that we've seen started under his watch.
And I'm gonna
with
tell
Eric
you,
Garner,
but the thing
with
is,
Trayvon Martin.
Yes, the thing is this: a lot of black people still don't want to admit to that.
Oh, there's a lot of black. I'd be like, you can look at the year and match it up to the term. You can look. I ain't making this up.
A lot of black people still want to stick with, but we had a black president. It's okay, but what did he do for black people? Well, it was great to see a black president, but what did he do for black people? Yeah,
and then what really hurt me about President Obama was not only not speaking about the police violence and the police murder, but when those cops in Dallas got killed and he showed up to that funeral, that hurt me. I remember, I can't remember if I was talking to you or Chris, but I was like, I've never seen something so disgusting in my life. Because we're talking about a man that is barely remarked on the police murders that went on during his term, yet came to an all-out funeral. You know what I'm saying? They had the choir and the flag and all the presidents and stuff. I was like, are you kidding me? And then I think the last straw for me is when he went to Flint and drank that water like everything was all good. And newsflash, Flint still ain't got good water. When he did that, I was like, you mother bad person. This is the all ages show. But when he did that, oh man, I wasn't a fan of it. So shouts to Little Miss Chocolate and Lotus Scholar. Nice to see you get in the spot. But we got some other quotes that have been going on. This will be the next. I'll do the Chuck D one. Because Chuck D made a statement, I think Russell Simmons retweeted it or shared it, where he said, "Don't be so woke that tearing down a black woman is more important to you than re-electing a racist, sexist idiot." I'll follow that quote with a quote of my own. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. What happened to fight the power? What happened to fight the power? Now all of a sudden you're down with Kamala, someone who called herself California's top cop, someone who was a prosecutor that put brothers and sisters in jail. We know that for a fact. What happened to fight the power, man? Come on, Chuck, not you. And then Russell Simmons, he just know he wrong in general for retweeting it. Russell Simmons needs to shut up for the rest of his life. When he said, "I believe her and I believe me," I was like, I don't know what kind of multiple universe quagmire you talking about. But if a woman says you raped her and you say, "I believe her," but then I also believe me saying that I didn't, I don't know what I rewound that moment like 3 times.
He believes that she believes.
I believe you believe.
Yeah, he believes that she believes he raped
that you did, but
her.
I believe that I know I didn't do it.
I think that's what he meant.
That
I believe
stupid.
that she believes that I raped her.
That fool did that. Anyway, but Chuck D, allegedly. Well, we don't know. Allegedly, I wasn't there, but it's not good when you flee the country and then talk about so I believe
I've always had property here.
Always since these allegations came out. But Chuck D, come on, man. What happened to fight the power? We got kids out there on the street. I would love to see you kind of leading this musically, documented, speaking for, helping these youth get their word out. But you're talking about just really.
You know what? This is the other thing that I don't think.
Racist, sexist idiot. Are we talking about Joe Biden or Trump? Which one? Because they both. Have we forgot about all those clips cut together of Joe Biden touching women and hugging women and sniffing their hair.
It's so creepy.
Have we forgot about that?
It's so creepy.
Have we forgot about Joe Biden saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black? Have we forgot about Joe Biden saying, y'all are diverse, unlike the black community? So, Chuck, where you at, man? We need you. We need that 1989 Chuck D.
This is the other thing. I don't think, because you and I have had a lot of conversations about this.
Word.
This is another thing I think we haven't really talked about. And all of these people that jump up and are just completely behind Kamala and really are going against people who are questioning her record, you know, stating her record and saying all that she's done wrong. No one that I've heard has been able to stand up and say, this is why you should support Kamala, and then be able to go down a list of things that she's done, you know, in all of her positions of service. No one has been able to do that.
It's pretty much been do it because you don't want Trump.
What legislation has she put forward? What has she actually done in terms of the black and brown community? What and
I ain't even got nothing to do with Ann Brown.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. You know how the Democratic Party want to do it. They want to throw Brown in with you.
But what I'm saying is that no, I've not heard anyone stand up and go down a list of things of this is the reason why she would make a great vice president. This is what she did when she was in office. Specifics. Because people are coming out with specifics of what she did wrong and things that she put into place that hurt black
and it's not even guesses. This is like articles written all over. Like, you know, it's not like it's coming from some crackpot, you know, conspiracy theorists.
Exactly.
This is stuff that's written in the white media that stuff that everybody trusts the white media.
We found in video of things that we found. And so it's just crazy to me how, you know, we are bashed. You know, black people are bashing other black people because we are just putting out there what fact is.
We're just asking questions.
We're not calling her out of her name. We're not talking about her mama. We're not calling her anything. We're just saying she did X, Y, and Z. This
and we want to know what's
she put into place. And they're like, you're bashing black women. What are you talking about?
Now, quick shout out to the chat. Big shout out to Jamal Lee. Yo, thank you for the super chat. Says the D in Chuck D stands for domesticated. You wrong, man. That's a good one, but you wrong. But it's tough. So I wanted to reference the Black Authority, which is a YouTube channel that had a recent live stream where they took callers. And he got really disrespectful with one of the callers.
Gosh.
With a
few of the callers.
Well, a few, but the old lady was the one that was it for me. But he did ask a very important question. He was like, if you're calling in, I want you to tell me exactly why you're voting for Kamala Harris or, you know, the Biden-Harris ticket.
Yeah, and he specifically said, only if you are voting, tell me why you are voting for them. Yeah.
And nobody was able to come with a valid reason of why you should. It was more of anti-Trump, not for Biden-Harris, but just anti-Trump. And there was only one person that actually made a basic argument of, his argument was, this vote isn't to fix things. This vote is to get Biden-Harris to put things back where it was. And then from there, we take it from them and then go, you know, on to more progressive things. So like, you know, like Trump took it all the way down here and then they want to put it right back in the normal place where it was, you know, status quo. And then we can take it to the, you know, to the left and go, you know, more progressive and, you know, go further beyond where we've been before, technically before Trump got here. So I guess that's the best description I've heard of any reason to vote for that ticket, which is, look, guys, this isn't going to solve everything in the world, but we need to get it back to normal, like normal, regular racist America, so we can fix the racism of America. So I guess that's the best thing I've heard for the Biden-Harris ticket. I haven't heard anything else. Everybody else was like, well, you don't want Trump, do you? And I was like, well,
and let me say this.
I don't know if that's for Biden-Harris. That's just against Trump.
Yeah, let me say this. And y'all stay with me. Stay with me. I understand. Look, there is no question and no debate about how racist, how ignorant, how evil, all of the above that Trump is. Yeah. There's no question about that, right? But think about this. What policies, what laws, what legislation has he put in place that has been put in place to our detriment? And I will say none. He has gone off at the mouth. Yeah. He has said all kinds of egregious things. He has done all kinds of things, behind people's backs and in finances and all these other things. He has not put legislation, any type of law in place that has been to our detriment, right? So he can be all of those things and we can't stand it. He's a horrible person. Yeah. Okay? Put that there. Go over to Harris and Biden. They have supported the 3 strikes that has affected Black people in a way that is, I want to say,
we're still experiencing
10, 12 times worse than white folks. They have put things into place, laws, legislation, right? That's what's more important. Now, you can have Big Mouth over there going off, calling us all kinds of ends, talking about S-hole countries and all those kind of things, and that is horrible. But if he has not put anything into place, I beg to argue he is not worse than those that are putting laws and legislation into place. Y'all got to understand that. That's where I'm coming from, and that's what I'm thinking. See, when you have the dog barking over here, I'm gonna give you the example I gave you yesterday when we were talking. When you are so busy worried about the dog that's snarling and slobbing and barking, you got another dog that's sneaking up behind you and bites you on your behind. Yep. And I think that's where we are.
Yeah, and we just want everyone to consider these things. You know what I'm saying? Because we're getting close. Democratic National Convention is going on right now, and people are going to be, throwing all kinds of things around. And I'll be the first to say, even though I've been extremely critical of Biden-Harris, probably still ain't going to vote for him. But when they announced that they did that live stream, wasn't I like, yo, let's watch this. I want to hear what they've got to say. Now, they didn't really say anything besides the fact that we've known each other for a long time. And this is a great pick and blah. And I was like, yo, this was your chance to kind of silence the haters. And y'all ain't silenced the haters. They were talking about like their friendship and, you're part of you're honorary Biden and everything. And I'm like, but where are your plans?
Right. What is your platform?
Where is your platform?
This is your chance to announce the Biden-Harris platform.
Thank you. Now, maybe they were waiting for this week for the DNC, maybe, because I only saw 2% of it yesterday. But maybe they're waiting to this week to do it because they were like, hey, DNC's next week. But even someone who has been completely critical was like, yo, tell me what you got. And you came out and you didn't tell me nothing. So it's like, even when we try to give you an opportunity to be like, what's your platform? What you got for us? What you going to do? And you don't say jack. How you expect someone to support you when you ain't giving me a reason to support? But I did want to share this comment that I thought was interesting on Facebook. Did you want to read the thanks for this, or do you want me to read it?
Which one?
Thanks for sharing this right after Ava's comment.
Let me see. I'll read it.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for sharing this. I was having a discussion last night that we can talk about offline, but I made similar statements. We all have something someone can say to cast a bad light about us. So it just means we all fall short because no one is perfect.
Pause. Let me stop. I would love to stop that, sister, real quick. We ain't all running for president. We ain't all trying to be in control of your life. So yes, we could say all people have fallen short from the grace of God, but all of us ain't trying to be in the pulpit.
And we're not striving for perfection.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even asking them to be perfect. But I don't even say, like I say about myself personally, or like I will say to myself, I say to my son, I say to Lisa, she's heard me say it about myself. I'll even say to you, it is about the honest and earnest effort every day to be better to yourself and those around you. And I honestly haven't seen that from Joe Biden, who seems to be having, along with Donald Trump, seems to be having early symptoms of dementia. And then, they're coming for us, y'all. You know how it is. He's trying to take us out. Or Kamala Harris, who doesn't really seem to be, maybe not regretful. You know what I'm saying?
She doesn't even address it.
Yeah, she's not even addressing it. Because I can understand a statement of like, guys, I played the cards I was dealt at the time. You know, looking at it now, the information I have now, I'd never make these same choices or whatever. But just skipping right past it, like, right, we ain't even gonna talk about it. So I thought that was interesting, but go ahead, sorry.
Then she says, can we just feel proud for one moment that in all this chaos, a Black woman has achieved what Shirley Chisholm attempted so long ago? The more we are seen making strides in this country, the more we become more comfortable accepting and believing it is possible. We need to stop hating on those who are seeking to change and possibly break the system as it's known to most now.
Okay. I've got to stop people with this conflation of history. A Black woman has achieved what Shirley Chisholm attempted so long ago. One, this is not to divide. I'm not even going to talk about dividing and whatever her Blackness, even though there is an argument to be had that we'll talk about later, because we saw it come up on for Harriet. Shirley ran for president. Kamala was selected for VP. Kamala. Kamala didn't achieve anything. She was selected. She was appointed. She was picked.
Yeah, she ran for president and didn't make it either.
Yeah. So she hasn't achieved what Shirley tried to do or attempted. She actually was just selected by a presidential nominee. So she hasn't even, for even you to make half that argument, they would have to win the election, which we don't know if they're going to win or not. And she's not president, which is something that I also want to reiterate. People, she's not going to be the president. She will be the vice president. Let's look in recent history. Vice presidents have essentially been non-factors. I will say for one. All right. Who was Bush 1's vice president? Who was Clinton's vice president? Al Gore? What did he do? Now, I know some people be like, he created the internet. Stop it. Bush 2. The only reason we know his vice president, Dick Cheney, is because he shot a dude in the face. All right?
And can I read this real quick?
Vice presidents are essentially non-factors.
Yeah. Can I read this real quick just to be clear?
Go ahead, my sister.
I got this from Senate.gov.
All right.
Other than to succeed to the presidency upon the death or resignation of a president, a vice president's only constitutional duty is to preside over the Senate. Vice presidents cannot vote in the Senate except to break a tie, nor may they formally address the Senate except with the senator's permission.
So essentially, they're non-factors. They've always been non-factors. So why are we equating Kamala Harris to Shirley Chisholm? No, it's not the same. Now, also, I want to talk about the difference in the woman that these two women represent. But I also want to jump to the chat real quick. Jamal Lee said, Biden helped create the super predator. Now he needs the votes of the super predator's children, which is funny. Sunray says, I think healthcare has been affected, but Wall Street and Big Pharma wants those policies. And Wall Street gets what it wants no matter who the president is. True, which was another big problem of Hillary. You know, people were always calling out well, of course you had Benghazi, which they wouldn't let go. I don't know why. But anyway, Benghazi, stupid emails, which I mean, everybody doing dirty stuff, so whatever. But she was deep in Wall Street's pocket. I mean, because, and it's not that any other politician isn't, it's because she ran so hardcore about the banks. And it's like, ain't she rolling with Wall Street? You know what I'm saying? So that she messed her own self off with that. But I mean, hey, that is what it is. Also, big shout out to Moses in the chat, and Pim Griffey, what up? Moses says they're expecting Biden's lobotomy to settle in and her to take over. That's why everybody expected her to be the first Asian American president. Yeah,
and see, that's the other thing. You know, this is, you know, what's crazy. Like, okay, as far as that, remember, we talk about this stuff a lot, guys. Yeah, for real. But a whole lot. So,
and we ain't always agreeing.
No. So what I was saying is that I could respect Kamala more if she were to come from a place of, look, I am very proud of my heritage. I have a Jamaican heritage and I have Asian heritage. And if she were to come out and embrace those, you know, two cultures, and maybe to even you know, educate everyone else on those cultures even more. But what she does instead is she seems to come out and try to play on African American culture. Yeah. And it seems very disingenuous. Yes. These videos popping up of her dancing to Cardi B and all this other stuff, not to say that she doesn't listen to them, but my thing is, why are you particularly putting those in the video? Why are you marching down the hallways with black children dancing to songs that are part of African American culture? But then when it's convenient, we see you somewhere else talking about your, you know, your Asian background, and then your Jamaican background, and you're all over the place. I feel like she's trying to check all these boxes. She's checking boxes depending on where she is. Yeah. And that's what I take issue with, because be who you are. Because I'm black everywhere I go. I ain't got no choice. You're African American. Yeah, African American. Yeah. She's a black woman. We can't take that from her. But we know there's a difference between being African American and being Jamaican, being Kenyan, Ghanaian. The experience and in the history in your family, the culture, the specific culture that you experience is different. Yeah. And my thing is, I need you, Kamala, to embrace your culture and stop nitpicking and picking what part of your culture you're going to focus on and emphasize depending on who you're talking to and where you are. It seems very disingenuous, and it feels like you're using, you know, all of these different parts and using people, you know, to further yourself, and I don't like it. Yeah. I just, it don't sit well. It don't sit well with me. It's very disingenuous.
On For Harriet's channel, she had this episode where I think the video is called, of course, it's Kamala, I think. But anyway, she had, you know, people IG live calling into her, and this one lady that I believe she said she was Kenyan. Kenyan and African American. You know, one of her parents is African American, another one is from Kenya. And she said, I don't know what, basically her statement was, I don't know what it is, but why does the US government have so much of a problem selecting someone who is African American? And she brought this up, not someone who is African American. She brought this up, saying, why does it have to be like President Obama, who has like some sort of exotic ethnicity to him, exactly, on top of being black, or Kamala, who has some kind of exotic ethnicity to him? It's almost like you're trying to conveniently and strategically bypass blackness, well, not blackness, African Americanness. You know what I'm saying? And I do think it's very interesting, and I think the reason why is, if you elected someone who had an actual upbringing and true ties to the African American experience today, they would most likely be on a platform of, we getting rid, defund the police. Hey, look, y'all about to lose y'all numbers. It's going down. Also, where them reparations at? They're going to be like, oh, also cash bail is gone. All this kind of stuff, it would be too revolutionary for them. Let's see. Yeah, go on and do that. But it's one of those things where we need to be really considerate of how they're placing her in our story, in our history, because they're trying to insert her into our history. Not saying that, her blackness is in question, because she is black, but being African American is a different experience. And it's not about her being a certain color, but it is about the Democratic Party making it about her color. We haven't been writing these articles that we see on MSNBC and New York Times and stuff. A black woman this, a black woman that. Get excited, everybody, because it's a black woman. I ain't writing them articles. You ain't writing them articles. Who writing them? Who pushing this? Who pushing the color so much? Who is? It's not us. It's not the black man that's scrubbing toilets down the street. It's not the black man that's a school teacher over there. It's not the black woman that's, I don't know, running a small business or something. We ain't writing them. So who writing these articles that's based so much on, let's talk about her color. Let's get y'all riled up about her blackness. Who writing them? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's something that we should consider, how she's being placed into our culture and how she's inserting herself without kind of like I can't remember, but they'd be like, you ain't put in on this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you want some, like, all right, say me and Moses. So me and Moses chilling. All right, me and Moses go in and we order a pizza. And then someone else come in and be like, yo, man, can I get a couple slices? Hold up. You ain't put in on this. Now you want some slices. You want some ownership of this experience, but I don't think you've put in on this experience to take any ownership of it. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that we should disregard her but that is something we should consider and something that we should question. Like, who is pushing this? Why is it being pushed? Why does it seem that she's either allowing it to be pushed or leaning into it? You know what I'm saying? What does she believe she has to gain? And then what do we have to gain or lose from that? But yeah, Vivi says, right. Reparations, defund the police, income inequality, putting resources into community such as Flint, Selma, Lowndes County, and other black areas. Yeah, that would be something that would be on a African American's mind. But if you're disconnected from the African American experience, meaning say you are black, but you were raised by an Indian American or Asian American mother and spent a considerable amount of time in Canada, in middle and high school, right?
I know at least high school. At
least high school. So in high school, maybe your connection wouldn't be the same, or you wouldn't have the same skin in the game as someone that's like, yo, I've been here all my life. I had an African American mama, African American daddy. They mamas and daddies was African American, and I've lived here as an African American man or woman all my life. Like Shirley Chisholm, which is why I would bring it back. Shirley has lived in America and operated in America as a African American black woman.
In a time where it was not.
In a time where it was not cool to be one. It was not fashionable to be on TikTok as one or pretending to be one, i.e. white girls that be hardcore on them tanning lotions. But she did the work. She stuck her neck out there, and she actually was the true example of an African American black woman. For us to
risked her life. Death threats. Come on, y'all.
But now we want to say a black woman has achieved what Shirley Chisholm attempted so long ago. What? Come on now. Are we gonna really get this to her? Really? We gonna put this on? We're so emotional about this that we're gonna put this on her? I don't know if she's earned to have this put on her. If we had a black woman that an African American woman that grew up here, was here, been here, experienced life as an African American woman, then I could say, you know what, and she was the presidential nominee. Then I'd say, cool. You know what I'm saying? She's walking in them shoes. She's going in that path. But I don't know if I can give it to Kamala like that.
Yeah, and let me say this, because I'm quiet because I'm looking over some of the comments and everything too. And let me say this: we're not trying to bash her or demean her for what her heritage, her culture, and her race is. That would be crazy. We have no issue with that. Because let me say this: Kamala Harris, if she had come from a place of being transparent and genuine, and again, embrace her own culture, her own heritage, right? Yeah. And run for president, or even be picked as she is now as VP, we wouldn't really be talking about this.
Nah.
You know what I mean? So it's this on top of her record.
Yeah, this is just another point. Similar, kind of like when Hillary was like, I got hot sauce in my purse. Or when she went to that church talking about I'm no ways tired. Oh, and God.
And the way she said it just made my blood just, oh my God. So she hasn't done anything that bad as yet, except that video of her dancing to Cardi B. It's just,
this is corny. It's corny. You're trying too hard.
And let's say it's not just corny, it's disrespectful to us.
Yeah. Because it's like, and see if you can look on Netflix real quick, the episode from Trial by Media. This is why she's doing this. And this is why the Democratic Party is doing this. Because there's an episode on Trial by Media. Netflix has a documentary series. It's called Trial by Media. And one episode is about, what is it, episode 2 or 4?
I don't know. Tell me what's about so I can.
It's about what is it, list out the episodes, because I can't remember.
Talk Show Murder.
No.
Subway Vigilante.
Nope.
Shots.
Nah.
King Richard.
It might be King Richard. What's the other one?
Big Dan's and Blago.
It might be King Richard. But there's an episode about this guy that went down to Alabama. He was running this the
Health South CEO?
Yeah, the Health South. Yes, King Richard. So he ran Health South. And he got in some trouble. Funny money with the business. And this guy, watch the episode, King Richard, he basically laid out, it was a black guy was his defense lawyer. He said, look, we're going to get you to start, white people don't like you, but black people are indifferent. I can get the black people on your side. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to take you to their churches, take you to their businesses. You're going to hang out with them, kick it with them. This dude didn't care nothing about black people, but he gave him the playbook. He was selling out his own people, gave him the playbook. Got to go to their church and blah, blah, blah. Even the dude that was like, he came to our church every Sunday. He's like, I haven't seen him since the trial ended. Of course you didn't, stupid.
Oh, that was the pastor of the church.
Yeah, that was the pastor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like, of course you didn't. But this is the kind of thinking here's just dance to some Cardi B. That's what they like. Talk about hot sauce, Hillary. That's what they like. It's draining. But with shouts to Kibi23 says the bad thing she has done though is punish black parents in regards to schooling issues. Yes, especially when we know about the school to prison pipeline, which makes that even worse. Is on top of the stuff that she was indifferent to, or even kind of pushed back on, like as far as talking about prison labor and trying to keep people in longer because of requiring prison labor. But also almost preying on black parents because how kind of the issues with children due to their communities is. So with that said, thank you. But with that said, what up, Blurtish? Nice to see Keith Cooper in the house. But yeah, so that was interesting. to see how he gave that guy the playbook to kind of sell out black people. But we got one more comment I wanted to get through. I got one more, you know what I'm saying? One more comment to get through. And then we're going to let y'all go. I'm finna to close. The track record one. Did you want me to read that one or did you?
Oh, I'm going to read it.
All right, cool. You like, oh, I got that one.
I got it.
Lay it up for me. Take a little sip of the canteen. And shouts out to Jenna James holding it down in the chat. Thank you.
This segment is called Receipts and Records. No. Okay. So this is something else somebody posted, right? On Facebook?
Probably so.
Okay. Her track record consists of terrorizing black communities through the prison industrial complex, and she has consistently shown herself to be an enemy to the masses of black people. Whether it was declining to advocate for legalization of marijuana in California, in which black people are arrested at the highest rate, or her failure to support body cameras for the police while simultaneously opposing legislation that will require her office to independently investigate police shootings. Kamala is not for the people being black people. She even defended the 3 strikes law, in which black people are incarcerated at a rate 12 times higher than whites. Kamala Harris has demonstrated through her actions that she does not value black lives, but rather supports our death via the carceral state.
She values them when she needs prison labor, though.
We're gonna
amen, sister.
Hold my beer.
I see you, girl.
Kamala's support of the death penalty, which is a modern-day form of lynching that has executed hundreds of innocent people and also disproportionately affects black people, proves that she doesn't value black lives. Kamala even advocated that an innocent black man named Kevin Cooper, who was a death row inmate and had a trial that was rooted in overt racism and corruption, be executed. She advocated for this even though Kevin had DNA evidence that proved her innocence, yet Kamala opposed it until the New York Times exposed the case. Furthermore, America has no moral ability to be able to decide who lives and who dies. The death penalty is fundamentally racist, yet Kamala supports it, furthering her record as a tough-on-crime politician. Not only has she failed to support policies that might improve the lives of black people, she has defended the need for prison slavery. What's dangerous about Kamala is that she weaponizes civil rights language. However, her actions prove otherwise. For instance, she said the idea that we incarcerate people to have indentured servitude is one of the worst possible perceptions. I feel very strongly about that. It evokes images of chain gangs. That is a quote. Despite making the connection between prison labor and chain gangs, she pushed back against a federal order to expand an early parole program, arguing that it would deplete their stock of prison labor. Let me read that again.
Stock of prison labor.
Let me read that again. She pushed back against a federal order to expand an early parole program, arguing that it would deplete their stock of prison labor, especially inmates who fight wildfires. Let me put a pin in that real quick for anybody who doesn't know, because we have a lot of wildfires out here in California. So what they do is, in addition to, the regular volunteer firefighters and the, employed firefighters, they will use prison labor. So what they do is they allow some of the prisoners who meet certain criteria to actually come out and fight fires along with the other firefighters that are already doing it. And they don't get paid, y'all. They don't even get credit once they are out of prison. They don't get any credit for their time. If they wanted to become firefighters as a career, they don't even get any credit for that at all.
Not at all.
Not as if they've done anything. So they come out as if they have no experience. All they know is you've been in prison. But anyway, these inmates make $1. I'm sorry, they do get paid. They get $1. My bad.
A whole $1.
These inmates make $1 an hour, which is a form of slavery. Kamala is not only a super cop, but an adamant defender of the institution of policing that is rooted in slave patrols.
Yeah.
All of this information, y'all, can be looked up. All of this information can be looked
So shouts out to The Wall. I see you made some comments about The Wall. To Corn Pop in the chat. The Wall is done by dang, I just blanked on his name. It's an artist on Instagram. I'll find him and put his link in the chat. He did most of the artwork up here. Some isn't, but most of it is his. Karan Grant did the Shadow Man directly behind my head, but most of the artwork is Geek Fine Art. And I'll put the link in the chat, and I want to get to some comments.
And who helped you actually put the board together, though?
There's a lovely lady.
It looks great.
By the name
It's wonderful.
Of Lady Lisa. That helped me put the board together, help me, figure it all out. Here's the link. Here's the link in the chat. Geek Fine Art. Dude is dope. Dude, super cool. And definitely slide over there. Find some art you like, hit him up, and spend some money. Because he's awesome. So I wanted to touch on how you look at this statement. None of this has to do with her blackness. And these are all the things that we've been saying. And the only thing you can get out of folks that oppose that is you're just hating on her being a black woman, or Donald Trump is worse. Is Donald Trump really worse in policy than the things that she outlined? Is he? I'd argue no. I'd argue Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are just as dangerous in policy as Donald Trump is basically in platform and socially. Because Donald Trump hasn't really put into place policies like this. Now, one could go and say, well, look at what he's doing with these secret police, locking people up and stuff. Yes, I could say that, but that's not a particular policy. That's just basically a move that any governor or any whatever could do. He's not really instituting a policy. Like that will end or might start up again. But I'd also argue that any Democratic president could do that as well. But this is a record. This is a history of someone on multiple occasions doing something. That is a valid gripe and a valid question to ask of her is, why did you do this? Are you planning on doing this again? Are you planning on supporting things that do this? So you know what I'm saying? It's very valid to ask these things. I also wanted to jump back on Moses and VV. Big shout to y'all. Moses says, isn't it funny how a black person who's born in an Asian country, example, China, Japan, Korea, and who speak fluent Asian languages, yet would never be considered Asian? And I think that's interesting because they wouldn't consider them Asian, or she doesn't want to be considered Asian, but then wants to quickly be considered black or African American. And then Vivi says, sorry to say, but black folk believe in the one drop rule. So Kamala is black because her dad is Jamaican. She lived a life as a middle class Indian woman until she went to Howard.
That's a good point.
And I mean, yes, basically she lived a life as kind of like I say about a lot of white Latinos or like Latinas, Latinx. They essentially operate as white people, but then want to claim like, oh no, we brown, we but people of color. It's like,
but see, I know for me personally, and I know this whole thing is very complicated.
Yeah, it's this is like an hour show.
There's no right or wrong, quite honestly. Yeah. But from my point of view, is I don't go by what you choose. Because you could have a black person that grows up in a white area all their life, never seen a black person. You black. I don't care what your experience is. I don't care how you grew up. You are black. You get what I'm saying? And so I don't care if someone isn't claiming themselves to be black or to be Asian, whatever. I'm like, oh, I don't know what you claiming, but I'm telling you what she is. You know, it's two different things. That's just kind of how I look at it. I know what some people want to say, well, why are we calling her black when she's not even, you know, really claiming to be black? So she can claim whatever she wants to claim when it's convenient, which is what she does.
Which is what she's been doing.
I consider her a black woman. And then that's the other thing. We have different definitions of what black is. Some people, when they say black, they are referring to African American. Some people, when they say black, they are referring to people, I was going to say people of color, that's not true, but people that have black ancestry throughout the world. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's what I'm thinking of. People who have African ancestry that live throughout the world. So.
Word up. And we have Therese in the spot. What up, Therese? Nice to see you. You know what I'm saying? Good to see you in the spot. Always wonderful. Always wonderful to have your sunshiny face. Also, Miguel says, big shout out to Miguel in the chat. Miguel says, rioters and looters are in trouble. No matter who wins, that nonsense will be shut down right after the election. I do agree that both parties have a great interest in keeping things the way they are. Because if they didn't, they would have changed it by now. So don't think that, and actually, Biden has already been like, nah, I'm actually going to increase funding for police. I'm not going to defund the police. So let's not, either way, I'll say this. And I think that we should consider each other and not just jump on each other, but we should be considerate of these things that are being said, that they're not fake, they're not false. You can look them up yourself. Google is your friend. You know what I'm saying? The internet is more than just making fun of movies and porn. It's more than that. You can learn things. So I'd say that either way, we're not going to see this grand revolution that you think. And I've said this to both sides. Don't get your hopes up. If you think that Trump ain't getting the second term, I don't know. Don't get your hopes up. Or if you think that Biden-Harris being elected is going to fix everything, don't get your hopes up. I'm just saying, don't get your hopes up. But all in all, guys, let's discuss. Let's not disconnect. There were a couple of foolish people up in the chat, but we tried to clean them up. Thank you to Jenna James and all that. But for the most part, I don't mind having a discussion. But what I do mind is completely disregarding hard evidence. You know, when people like, multiple people have written about this. Multiple people have, stuff has gone viral, especially about the young gentleman that was on death row. There's things that have gone on where it's worth a serious discussion. And if we're going to hold somebody accountable, one would say, or many could say, that election time is when you hold someone accountable. Either A, we vote your butt out, or B, we vote someone in. You know what I'm saying? So this is the time. These last months leading up to November is when we say, hey, you need to do what we want. Because if you think that Jewish people, Chinese people, Latin people, all kinds of stuff are not asking, even in back rooms, in little meetings and fundraising dinners, if you think they're not asking for what they want, oh, they are. So black people should be able to ask, black African American people should be able to ask for what we want. As African Americans. As African Americans. Dealing with our issues that we have that are specific and unique to African American people. Just saying. Oh man, I ain't messing with you on that, Moses. I'm gonna leave you alone. I ain't messing with y'all. But with that said, guys, thanks for rolling through. Before we get out of here, Lady Lisa, say what's up. Hey y'all, bye y'all. And to the chat, Moses, Vivi, Miguel, Therese, Jenna James, Corn Pop. Oh, and I didn't get to say hey to Miss Chocolate. Little Miss Chocolate, yeah. Little Miss Chocolate, Kibi23, Jamal Lee, Alan Lewis, Jamal Lee, thank you for the super chat. Lotus Scala, Dad Cassandra Sellers, Sun Rays, first time, nice to see you. Boogs Worthy, Pim Griffey. Dad, we thank y'all for rolling through. Y'all look, man, hey, it's great to see y'all sunshiny faces.
And
love all y'all.
And let us know, y'all. Look, you see we all over the place in terms of our days. You can thank a little 3 foot tall little person for that. But feel free to let us know what days are working for y'all. It looks like Tuesday today might be working for you guys. Yeah, I don't know.
Cause we'll be back on Friday for more lounging. Unless y'all digging Tuesdays. If y'all digging Tuesdays, we'll be live tomorrow too with Black Together. So yeah.
We will?
Yeah, tomorrow, Black Together? Or you don't want to do it tomorrow?
That's fine, but I didn't remember what it was doing.
We're going to do it back to back. Get caught up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So tomorrow, we'll be here around the same time for Black Together. It'll be easier, no news talk. You know what I'm saying? We'll be talking about relationships and stuff like that and marriage in general. So Black Together, if you married and you want to come in and talk, get your catharsis.
It's about Black relationships.
Yeah, I was about to get on that. But go on, take it away, girl.
No,
take it away, girl.
I didn't have nothing to take away. I was just saying they have to be married. That's all.
Or if you're looking to be in a serious relationship, I ain't talking about DMing somebody and try to meet them in the back room. All right, I'm talking about serious relationships. Come on and ride through with us, hang with us. It's cool. But yes, of course, love all y'all sunshiny faces. NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. YouTube is the main hub. Make sure to hit that thumbs up if you like what you saw. Hit that thumbs down if you didn't, but you hit that thumbs down, I'm gonna send Joe Biden after you. And he will change you from black to white just like that.
And he gonna sniff your hair.
He gonna sniff your hair like he's sniffing coke. So
and black women don't like that.
No, they don't like that. So podcasts are up as well. You can find me anywhere. Spotify Music if you like them jams. And from next time, for us to you. Oh, actually, I got some more shows. I got another episode I'll be putting up later. But from us to you, thank you for coming through and peace, because it's been a good one. Matter of fact, so good that I'm gonna leave we all with some Arcatron. ARCKATRON.com. That's right. He makes dope beats that be on my channel all the time. So I'm gonna leave y'all with this. So man, look, y'all get your headphones ready, get your speakers ready, because we going out like this. Peace. Yeah.